as a nation, we sigh a sigh of relief, I feel, when we see Eli Sharabi, Or Levy, and Ohad Ben-Ami returned home from the clutches of these terrorists. And imagine what they went through. I mean, you see it on their faces. You see how skinny they are. You see, but just seeing them hugging their loved ones and back at home, we just surround them, all of us. And they fought to stay alive, and here they are. It gives us a glimmer of hope. Or Levy was kidnapped at the Supernova concert, and his wife was killed by Hamas. The grandparents have been watching their child for the last 17 months, and it's just so emotional to see suddenly them reconnect. And Ben-Ami was taken from his kibbutz Be'eri. His wife was also kidnapped by the terrorists, but was released in the first hostage release, what was that, a year ago or so. It's just so emotional, right? After 491 days. And so Eli Sharabi is meeting his mother Hannah and sister Osnat. And only today he learned about the death of his wife and daughters, who he was longing to see so much, that they were killed on October 7th. You know, the pieces are all coming together for them. I'm sure they're glad to be alive. I'm sure they're glad to be home, but they carry so much pain with them. The president of our state, Herzog, he says, this is what crime against humanity looks like. The entire world should look into their eyes of Ohad, Or, and Eli. After 491 days, having endured so much, they're emaciated. It must have been so painful. And here they're made to go through this ritual. It's so monstrous that this kind of ritual, like they were just in some sort of fun camp and they signed these documents, you know. And this whole hostage deal, this whole thing is really inhumane. It feels like the Holocaust. It looks kind of like the Holocaust, and they've been starved in there. And everyone's talking about how much food is getting to the Gazans. How much food is getting to the hostages is a really good question. And so it's just unimaginable that they would not release the Bibas children. Are they alive? I mean, according to Al Jazeera, they said that they're the mother and Ariel and Kfir are no longer living, is what Al Jazeera says. And it's just brutal. This is hard for all of us. And but they're not prisoners of war. And I just want to make this very, very clear. Hostages, when you kidnap a young boy, Ariel and Kfir Bibas, you kidnap these children, they are hostages. They're not prisoners of war. And some people are getting that confused. Even some legacy media is getting that confused, maybe on purpose. But you see what it's like when these tunnels, you know, they were dug, and they cost, what I understand, for each mile of tunnel costs about $800,000. There's around 500 miles of tunnel, something like that, and that would be $400 million. And it's just so amazing that they would spend all this money, all this effort, just for the sole purpose of holding hostages, of doing terror, just to hurt Israel. I mean, hate is so strong, isn't it? It's got to change. And Netanyahu's statement to the Saudi channel, he suggested that Saudi Arabia has enough land. They could establish a Palestinian state in Saudi Arabia if they want. And it just can't continue like this, and that no, they should not get a Palestinian state right next to us to continue to do what they did all this time since we left in 2005. So let's pray a prayer of comfort, and may the rest of these hostages be returned safe and sound. Have a great week, everyone. Jeremiah 20, verse 11. But the Lord is with me like a mighty warrior. So my persecutors will stumble and not prevail. They will fail and be thoroughly disgraced.